Hello everyone, welcome to the chapter Tissues. In our previous video, we have discussed about the epithelial tissue, isn't it? We actually started with animal tissues. There are four important animal tissues. One is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. We discussed everything about epithelial tissue in the last video, right? And the most important thing about epithelial tissue is it mainly protects the body, isn't it? So epithelial tissue makes a covering around the organs. It makes the lining inside the organs, and it protects the organs. So that was the main purpose of epithelial tissue. We discussed the different types and where they are present, what function they do, everything is over. And now coming to the most important tissue of all is connective tissue. The name only says, connection, right? Say it can connect all the tissues inside the body, all the tissues in the sense epithelial, muscular, and nervous. All the tissues can be connected with each other with the help of another tissue called connective tissue. Okay, and this connective tissue can connect all parts of the body, right? It can connect, the head is connected to the chest part, right? And abdomen part, and legs are connected here in the abdomen region. It's all connected, right? The entire body, the hands are connected here to the shoulder region. The every body part is connected with each other. In the same way, inside a body, we have so many organs. Heart is there, liver is there, kidneys are there, stomach is there, brain is there. You know what? All these guys are also, the organs are also connected with one another, right? And who has connected all these organs? Who is connecting the different parts of a body to each other is this connective tissue. Okay, not only a connection, guys, it can it can support the organs also, right? It can give support to the organs, it can bind the organs, it can protect the organs also. You know what, say for example, I am jumping here and there, or I am running. It is not that my heart fell here, right? The heart is placed right in the chest area. When we jump or when we run, it's not that heart is coming to the abdomen region, or it's not that heart is going to the head region. Okay, heart is staying in one particular place every time. Whatever activity you do, you jump, you run, you stand upside down, in the yogic poses, they keep the head down, legs up and stand. It's not that the organs have displaced. It's not that the heart has come to the head region. It's not that the kidneys are going to the head region when you stand upside down. Isn't it? Say whatever activity you do, it's not that the organs positions are changing. They are there as it is. They are located wherever they are there. Yes or no? They are safely placed. So who is keeping all the organs in place actually? Who is giving support to the organs? It is this connective tissue. Got to know the importance of connective tissue, guys? It's very simple. Connective tissue is present everywhere in the body, guys. It's there in the skin, it's there in the heart, it's there everywhere. Okay, and it is connecting one part of the body to another part, right? And not only connecting the parts or organs, it is also supporting the organs. It is giving support to the organs, and it is protecting the heart, organs or tissues, some other tissues, right? Like epithelial tissue, it can protect the epithelial tissue as well. It can protect the muscular tissue. It can also protect the nervous tissue. It's giving support to them, and this guy is connecting all the tissues, ultimately all the organs, and finally all the parts of the body are connected with the help of this guy, that is connective tissue. Okay, so today we are learning about this particular connective tissue. There are many different types of connective tissue, guys. Different types of connective tissues are present in the different areas inside our body, and each of the connective tissue has a work along with the connection. I told you it can support, and it can do so many other jobs, right? So all of them we are discussing in this particular session. So I tell you, it's going to be a very interesting session. So listen with full concentration. First and foremost, let us write the definition of connective tissue. So what I can write about the connective tissue, it connects. It's very simple. The name itself says, isn't it? Connects all parts of the body. All parts of the body. Okay, so not only connects, it supports, it actually supports, binds and protects organs and other tissues. Anyway, organs are made up of tissues only, right? Other tissues in the sense, it can protect the epithelial tissue, it can give support to the muscular tissue, and it is protecting the nervous tissue, right? So along with the connection, along with the duty of connecting one part with another part, it can also give support. It is acting as a binding material, okay, and it can also protect the organs and other tissues, right? So where is connective tissue present, guys? It is present everywhere inside the body. Present everywhere inside a body, right? Okay, it's not that it's present only in the skin, it's not that it is present only in the heart, it's present everywhere. Okay, connective tissue is present in the root tip also, it is present in the fingertip also. Everywhere the connective tissue is there, right? And one important point that you have to remember, and it's very compulsory, very important, that is, any tissue is made up of cells only. Even connective tissue is having so many cells, so many same type of cells or different types of cells, maybe they group together and form a tissue, isn't it? So here the cells of connective tissue are present in a matrix. I'll tell you what is the matrix. First, let me write down the point. Cells of connective tissue is present in matrix. Okay, say, and here the matrix can be, it's a very important thing that you have to remember, guys. Matrix can be a fluid, jelly, or matrix can be rigid, means very hard. Okay, say, just try to remember the watermelon, guys, right? Say, how does a watermelon look like? You have, when you cut a watermelon half the way, right, you will have that red colored thing, isn't it? Say you have a red colored stuff here. In the red colored stuff, you will see the black seeds present. Yes or no? The seeds are black. So here the red colored stuff is what we call it as matrix here. Okay, say, where are the black seeds are actually present? They are present, they are embedded, they have fixed in that red color area, isn't it? Say that red color area is what we call it as matrix. So just like the watermelon, the cells keep floating in certain fluid. That fluid can be called as matrix, or the cells can keep floating in a jelly-like substance. That gel can be called as a matrix, or the cells keep fixed in certain solid mass, and that solid mass is very tight, and it's very rough, it's very hard. That's why we call the matrix can also be rigid. Got to know? You got an idea here. So how are the cells present? Say, In the epithelial tissue, I have told you the layers of cells are present on one basement membrane, isn't it? So basement membrane was compulsory for the epithelial tissue. Whatever may be the layers, how many ever may be the layers, all the layers were neatly packed in one layer. Okay, basement membrane we call. Just like that, the cells of connective tissue keep floating. Most of the connective tissues, the cells keep floating in certain liquid area. That liquid area can be matrix, or they can float in certain jelly thing like substance. That jelly is called as matrix, or they can be fixed in some hard substance. That hard substance can be called as a matrix. Understood? Okay, so this is going to be a very, very important point, guys. The cells of connective tissue is present, or they are embedded in so-called matrix. So here matrix can be fluid or liquid. It can be jelly or it can be rigid, guys. Okay, and now let us talk about the types of connective tissue. Types of connective tissue. Now there are many types of connective tissue, guys. Let me list out all the types of connective tissue. First and foremost, we have blood. Okay, and blood is a connective tissue. Okay, usually blood is called as fluid connective tissue. Okay, because it's liquid. Blood is a fluid connective tissue since it is liquid, right? We will discuss about the blood in detail little later. Just note down all the types of connective tissue. Next one is bone, guys. Okay, so we have so many bones inside. We have a framework of bone. We have a skeleton, isn't it? So that is also a connective tissue. Bones connect, right? One part to another part. So I can definitely call it as a connective tissue. Okay, so the next one is ligaments. Right? Let us discuss about all this. Tendon is another connective tissue. Tendons. Okay. And the next is cartilage. Cartilage. Right? And the next type of connective tissue is areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue. And the last and important connective tissue is adipose tissue. So here the meaning of the word adipose in the sense fat, guys. Okay, there are so many fat layers inside. There is a tissue of fat, full of fat, So that is called adipose tissue, right? So these are the different types of connective tissue. And now let us talk about the first and important type of connective tissue, that is blood. So guys, blood is called fluid connective tissue. Blood is called connective tissue because it can also connect, one part to another part, guys. It flows from one part to another part, isn't it? It flows to all parts. That way it can connect, one part of a body to another part of a body. That's the reason it is called connective tissue, and it's a liquid. That's the reason it is fluid connective tissue. Okay. And before we discuss the components of blood, let us talk about the function of a blood. So what will the blood do inside a body? The main function of a blood is transportation, guys. It can transport oxygen to all parts of a body. We inhale oxygen. It goes to lungs, right? From lungs, it will go to blood. And this blood will carry the oxygen to each and every cell of a body. Every cell requires oxygen, guys. Okay, the root tip require oxygen, the finger, the nail tip, the points of a nail require oxygen. Every cell, the brain require oxygen. The liver requires oxygen. Kidney cells require oxygen. Oxygen is necessary for each and every cell. So who is taking the oxygen to each and every cell of a body? That is blood. Okay, not only oxygen, guys. It will carry the nutrients also, right? Once we take a food, whatever nutrients are there in a food, that goes to the blood actually. And this blood will carry the food, that is the nutrients, to each and every cell. Every cell requires nutrients. That means a food, right? So it can carry the nutrients, and it can also carry certain chemical substances that have many other jobs. The chemical substances are called hormones. We speak about these hormones more in detail in the next class, that is in class 10. Okay, so just try to remember, hormones are certain chemical substances that is required for various processes happening inside our body. Okay, so it carries oxygen, it carries what guys, it carries nutrients, and it can also carry the chemical substances called hormones, right? So this is the main duty of blood. So the blood is very, very important connective tissue, one has to understand, right? First, let us talk about the function of blood here. Say, what is the function here? The blood transports, okay, that means it carries oxygen, nutrients and hormones to body parts, to all organs. You can write it as it carries all these things to all organs. Okay, organs, or you can call it as tissues, cells, whatever. To each and every cell, all these things has to be carried. So who carries? The blood. Okay, so if we want to go from one place to another place, we use a transporting vehicle, we use a car or we use a bus, right? Bus carries us from one place to another place. So that transportation business is taken up by the blood inside our body. Okay, blood is like a vehicle inside our body. Whatever the tissues need, cells need, it will carry it and it will give it there. And whatever the waste materials generated in the cells, the waste materials are also liberated to the blood only. Okay, so it gives all good things to the cells and it will collect all bad things, all the waste material that has been created inside a cell, right? It collects, right? So this is the main duty of the blood. And now let us talk about the components of blood. So how does the blood cells look like? I told you each and every cell of a connective tissue is placed in a matrix. So what is that matrix and what type of cells are there in the blood? All that we will discuss here. Okay, so components of a blood, right? And here the blood mainly has three components, guys. Okay, so one is red blood cells. It has red blood cells. It has white blood cells, and it also has the specialized cells called platelets. Okay, so these are the different types of blood cells. The red blood cells, the name only says they are red in color. The blood is red in color. The red color of a blood is due to the red blood cells, guys. Okay, so actually the red blood cells has something called hemoglobin. You might have heard about this word, isn't it? Hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin is the one actually carrying oxygen to all parts of a body, guys. Clear? So the red blood cells are red in color. Because of the red blood cells, the blood is red in color. Okay, so why the red blood cells are red? It is because hemoglobin is present inside, right? And coming to the white blood cells, so they are not red, they are white. Okay, white blood cells. There are various types of white blood cells, guys, actually. Okay, we have something like basophils. Basophils is one variety. Eosinophils. Okay, and there are neutrophils. Okay, so all these are actually white blood cells. they work as a defense system, guys. They protect our body actually. Whenever a foreign substance enters to our body, okay, like by bacteria and virus, our body fights against them. Our body will try to kill them. The body will try to protect us. This is what we call immune system, right? So all these cells are actually a part of immune system. They help for the immune system. Okay, so white blood cells help for immunity. Okay, so they are, if these cells are working properly, it's that we have better immunity. We can fight against various diseases. Okay, so this is the duty of white blood cells actually. And coming to the platelets, these platelets help for blood clotting. Help for blood clotting. Imagine whenever we suffer from wound or cut, what happens? The blood flows outside. But after a fraction of seconds, the flow of blood stops because the blood clots. Okay, that clotting thing is very much necessary for a body. If clotting doesn't occur, what would happen, guys? The entire blood keeps flowing outside, isn't it? So clotting is a very important sign, that a body should have. Right? Whenever a wound or cut occurs, clotting is the one which actually stops the blood flow. So, who is responsible for the clotting of a blood, guys? It is platelet cells. Okay, they are called platelets. Right? So, these are the different types of blood cells. And remember, I told you a point that the cells of connective tissue are present in the matrix. So, these cells, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets, all these are present in a matrix called plasma. Okay. So, what I will write here is these cells are present in a liquid matrix. Here the matrix is liquid, guys. Liquid matrix called plasma. Okay, so what is the matrix here? Plasma. Okay, it is a colorless liquid. All these cells, they keep floating in this liquid matrix. So what is that liquid matrix called? The liquid matrix is called as plasma. Okay, even plasma will do some work, guys. This guy can also carry certain proteins, hormones and etc. Okay, so all these cells, they keep floating in this plasma, right? So this is about the blood. Now let us see a beautiful visual on blood, how actually the blood flows.
Are the blood cells. This is in fact actually a blood which consists of blood cells. You see these red color cells are there, no? Round shaped red color beads like structure. This is called red blood cells, guys. And these white color structures are called, white blood cells as well as platelets. These cells keep floating in a colorless liquid. You can't see that liquid here, okay, but it's colorless. See, these cells keep moving, keep floating in a colorless liquid. That is what we call plasma. Clear? So these are the components of blood, guys. Red blood cells, what is the function of red blood cells? It contains hemoglobin, and these are the cells that is carrying oxygen and mainly oxygen to all parts of a body. And these white color stuffs are white blood cells. And what do they do inside a body, guys? They are a part of immune system, right? During infections, these guys actually fight against infections. And platelets are there. Okay, and imagine some more small white color things are there, no? Imagine they are platelets. They are helpful in clotting the blood. Okay, so these are the three different cells. And where are they present? They are present in a liquid matrix. Okay, what is that liquid matrix called? Plasma. What is the use of plasma? Even plasma can carry the nutrients and proteins to various parts of our body, right? So since blood is liquid, because plasma is liquid here. It is called fluid or liquid connective tissue. Clear? So that's all about blood cells.
See guys, after watching a beautiful visual on a blood, come back to the concept. We are discussing about the next variety of connective tissue, that is bone, guys. So what do you mean by a bone? You can observe a picture on a board. It's a picture of skeleton, isn't it? So you have so many bones there. There are so many bones in the head. Here is one bone, here is one bone, and in a finger there are small bones. Everywhere the bones are there, isn't it? So why is the bones present in our body? Imagine if these bones are not there in our body, what would happen? The body will not stay like this. Yes, we will not be this much stable. We would have collapsed if bones were not there. Imagine, will you have this structure for your body? No, right? Bones are very important. So what I can write for a bone is, the bone makes the structural framework of a body, right? So the bones are very much necessary, and they give support to each and every part. They give support to each and every organ, isn't it? So that's what I'm going to write here. Makes the structural framework of a body, and they give support. They give support to other organs or tissues. Okay, and they protect also, isn't it? They actually protect, guys. Yes, so the heart is safely present inside the rib cage. The rib cage is made up of so many bones. So what is this rib cage is doing? It can protect the heart, it can give support to the heart, isn't it? So this is the main duty of the bone. Clear? And now let us talk about how the bone looks like actually. Clear? And bone cells are actually called as osteocytes. Okay, osteocytes. And these bone cells are placed, they are fixed in matrix. The cells of connective tissue is present in some matrix. Matrix can be liquid. In case of blood, the matrix was liquid, isn't it? But in case of bone, the matrix is very hard, guys. Okay, it's not liquid, it's not gel type, it is also a solid substance only. The cells, that is osteocytes, are present in a solid matrix. Okay, here the matrix is solid, guys. Okay, and this particular matrix is made up of, it is made up of calcium and phosphorus. Okay, so this is how the matrix is also very hard, and the matrix is mainly made up of calcium and phosphorus. Okay, so in the matrix, solid matrix, the osteocytes, that is the bone cells, are present. Okay, and you can just have a look. This is how you can observe when you imagine we have a bone. I just cut. Okay, so when you cut a bone, this is how the bone cell looks. It has nucleus, another bone cell. This is another bone cell, osteocyte. Okay, and this is the other one. And these bone cells are actually present in what, guys? They are present in the matrix, and the matrix is also very hard. It is also a solid thing. Okay. So, and this particular matrix, this is a matrix made up of what, guys? Made up of calcium and potassium. Okay, and these guys are actually osteocytes, that is the brain cells. Okay, the bone cells. Okay, so this is how a bone, internal structure of a bone can look like. And here let us talk about one more connective tissue, that is ligament. So what is ligament, guys? And ligament is a connective tissue which connects one bone to another bone. Imagine this is my hand. Okay, say from here to here there is a bone. Here to here another bone. Okay, and here there is a joint, and in the fingers there are small bones. So here this bone is connected to this bone. So who is connecting one bone to another bone? Again a connective tissue, and that is called ligament. Got to know? So what I can write for ligament is a connective tissue, is also a connective tissue. Okay, that connects one bone to another bone. One bone to another bone. Okay, very important, guys. Ligament connects one bone to another bone. Okay, say for example, you have one bone. This is one bone. Okay, this is another bone. Both the bones are connected with ligaments. Okay, so there is one more small structures. This is also a connective tissue. There are so many cells embedded in the matrix. Okay, so this is what we call ligaments. Okay, and we have another connective tissue, guys. That is tendon. Okay, tendon. So what is tendon? Tendon is again a connective tissue, but this connective tissue connects muscle to bone. Okay, so you have a bone. Around the bone there is a muscle. This is a muscle inside the skin. After the skin inside, there is a muscle. Okay, so this muscle is also connected to a bone. But who is link? What is the link between muscle and bone? What is connecting muscle to bone is this tendon. Okay, so what I can write here is tendon is a connective tissue that connects muscle to bone. Okay, so you shouldn't get confused between ligament and tendon, guys. Okay, ligament is a connection between bone and bone, isn't it? And tendon is present between muscle and bone. Imagine this is a muscle, okay, and this is some bone. So muscle is connected with the bone with the help of tendon. Okay, so this is muscle and this is some bone, right? Muscle has to be connected with the bone. Muscle should have some support, right? So who will connect muscle to the bone? Tendon will connect. So tendon is also a connective tissue. Ligament is also a connective tissue. So now let us see how ligament and tendons, okay, play an important role in the connections with the help of a picture.
To the bone, guys, you can see this brown color thing is there, no? See this brown color, wherever this brown color thing is there, that is actually bone. Okay, see this is one bone and down there is another bone. So two bones are connected with this particular joint. This joint we will call it as ligament. Can you able to differentiate? Upper brown portion, that is one bone, bottom brown portion, that is another bone. See, both are connected with ligament, guys. Okay, so ligament is the connection between bone and bone. Okay, now you see this red color thing is there, no? This is actually muscle. Okay, say in body there are some muscles and these muscles gets connected to bone, guys. Whenever you want to lift your hand, there actually both muscle and bone should work. Only then you can lift the hand. Okay, see this muscle is finally connected to bone, guys. Say this is a bone, this is a muscle. So who is connecting muscle to a bone? Again a connective tissue, that is tendon. Okay, remember guys, tendon is a connective tissue that connects muscle to bone. Ligament is the connective tissue that connects bone to bone. Okay, so this is the difference between ligament and tendon, guys. Very, very, very important. So ligaments are actually quite flexible, okay, but tendons are not flexible. Remember this point.